Each week, nearly a dozen movies are released theatrically. 40 films a month, more than 400 a year. That's a plethora of cinema. Too much cinema. You'd have to be an addict to see all that, but don't fret. We've got you covered. This is CinemAddicts.
Hey everyone, what's up? It's a new episode of CinemAddicts. This is CinemAddicts episode 322. We're covering movies coming out during the week of Friday, November 28th, 2025. Actually, I say the week of every single week, but this is Thanksgiving week. This is a holiday week. So I feel like Eric and I, we did a little bit of a trick on Bruce Perky, and we're doing a trick to you, dear listener, and I'm tricking Eric Holmes, because Eric, this is the day after Thanksgiving.
Black Friday, if you will.
Black Friday. If I would will more if I had more money. I would be spending on so much more if I wish. But Eric, Bruce Perky already emailed me the cinematic. I'm sure there's some really good reviews. You and I could just pack this episode in. You dear CinemAddicts listeners, you gotta let Eric. You're done. You're gonna
Thanks for joining us.
Eric Holmes.
Cut to Bruce Perky in the cinematic.
Eric, when do you go to work? In about an hour? When does work start?
2 hours. I think.
In 2 hours. You listeners, we're gonna let Eric Holmes sleep for an hour. We're not gonna cover movies. We're gonna say, in 3, 2, 1. Here's Bruce Perky over the cinematic. What do you think of that, Eric Holmes? Day after Thanksgiving.
We got a couple of movies to talk about.
You want to do your job?
This is Patreon or the Patreon time. So
what year are we covering? What year are we covering for the month of December?
1997.
For this month, November. Yes.
And we also recorded that episode for the Patreon.
We did the Day Trippers.
And so just to bring that up before we forget, next month will be 2011. So if you have any ideas for movies for us to cover in 2011,
hit us up.
Let us know. Check that. Do it in the comment. Hey, this movie is really good. Hey, this movie's really bad. And I want to torture you guys. Hey, this movie's kind of weird. Let's see where you land on it. Or could be anything. Just so long as it came out in 2011.
And like Eric said on our Patreon, I'm just going to say what he said. If you want to even torture me, Greg Trzavosty, with a movie from 2011 that you know I'm going to hate, but because you are a CinemAddicts member or Patreon member or just a cinephile, throw it in the comments or email us and we might randomly pick that movie and I might be crying over that movie that we just picked. So,
or Eric, his movies he watches are for 12-year-old boys that like explosions. Let's try to culture them a bit. You can do that as well.
Oh, yes. And if you want to hear our reviews and spoiler-free stuff, spoiler stuff, we did some spoiler stuff on The Game, that David Fincher. I don't know if it's a classic. You don't ask me or Eric right now because that's a Patreon exclusive, but I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen The Game. But we also have some interesting stuff regarding The Day Trippers as well. And I haven't listened to Bruce Perky's reviews of either movies from 1997. Well, give us a listen on Patreon. $5 catch-all. Yes,
I did take on The Game, the ending of The Game, and what happened. I think it works. You thought it was an interesting take, but maybe not supported by the text of the movie itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Also,
be interested in what you think of that.
I also thrown in some.
Am I bang on? Am I way off? Is it like, oh, it's interesting? Probably not what the movie was going for, but interesting headcanon sort of thing.
Yeah, I've also gone with that aesthetic ever since we did Find Your Film with me, Bruce, and Eric. I told them, hey, we're just like law and order lawyers and investigators. Our lives are not part of the show. We're just covering the cases, in this case, the movies. But I throw in a little bit of personal stuff regarding our review of The Game and where the third act goes. I might have...
Oh, and during the birth portion of it, it led us into talking about
different territories.
An actor that we like a lot. We won't give it away here, but
give it away. Some personal stuff. That was some personal stuff. Yeah, we get a little bit. I'm not saying racy. I got a little bit out of hand. So
I'm glad you said racy.
Yeah, there are other words for what I was for about 10 seconds.
The racist did not happen. Racy definitely, but
yes, and it was dealing with a thespian that we both love. Okay, and that's all I'm going to say about that. Oh, and finally, if you want to listen to Eric and I actually talking about how we interview various directors and actors, and we're giving each other's we're helping each other with some interviewing insights. And that might help you if you plan to interview people or if you're interested in the interviewing process. That's some value-added stuff that we put at the end of Patreon unwittingly, because when Eric and I we were recording it.
We should probably put this on the Patreon. This is
I'm thinking,
Greg, we're talking. We're pretty good at this.
We're pretty decent.
We're just spun gold. Maybe a little arrogant on our part, perhaps, but it's on Patreon regardless.
Yeah, and Eric, so please, if you want to actually listen to Eric's interviews, really great interviews with filmmakers and actors, please check out our CinemAddicts YouTube channel. Again, our CinemAddicts episodes over on the CinemAddicts YouTube channel, they're commercial free. So if you listen to CinemAddicts on a given week, you might have to listen to some of our ads on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We thank you for that. But if you want a free experience, no commercials, subscribe to our CinemAddicts YouTube channel, listen to Eric's interviews on that YouTube channel, and listen to our show. Some good value-added stuff there, and we're going to be growing our channel right now. We're trying to get to 1,000 subs. Currently, we're at 847-ish. We're getting closer. And then we're about 46% of the way regarding watch hours and listen hours. So we're trying to get monetized. So our monthly cheeseburger rate, we might be able to add a side of lettuce on the side. I don't know what other condiment you're going to put on your cheeseburger. If we make a little bit more extra coinage every month, Eric Holmes, maybe a truffle on top of the cheeseburger, maybe a grilled onion. I don't know. What do you think? What would you put on your cheeseburger, Eric?
Jelly.
Jelly. Oh, that's interesting. Interesting jelly.
Dried oats.
Dried oats. Well, that's a very nature-y.
Some crumbled dog food for texture.
Oh, that's something that
none of that.
He's feeding Bruce Perky that over in the attic in a few moments when we get to it.
I will say though, before we get on, there's also the Cinemax Movie Club. We got was it Ugly Stepsister for this week, I believe.
Okay.
I'm like way behind.
Same here.
I need to catch up, but yeah, Mitch Burns been doing a bang up job on that.
Mitch Burns over at the Hollywood Persona podcast. Yeah. He's doing a great job.
And people have been recommending movies. Now, since normally it would be today that people would start talking about the previous movie, but since it's Thanksgiving, they're giving it a second week. And so people got time to catch up. This would be time to catch up, time to hop on if you're not yet. But join the CinemAddicts Facebook page and
then join the movie club.
Yeah, hit Mitch up and join the movie club. And also, Mitch is awesome. So there's that. Which is great. And if you like physical media, I give away a Blu-ray or DVD every week to members of our movie club as well. So that's a really cool thing. The cool thing is we get to talk movies every week. And a side part of that cool thing is someone every week gets a Blu-ray or DVD out of that experience. So that's a very, very, very good thing. So that's it. We are. I was going to say Joe's over.
We're done.
No, we just
but Eric, we just started. Eric is going to be professional, and he's going to talk about the movies that he's covered within the past week, because these movies that he covers early are the movies that are now, as of Friday, November 28th, they're now out in theaters. Eric's going to start off with a documentary. Can you tell us about You Got Gold, a celebration of John Prine? Is that how I believe that's how you pronounce his name? And my fault if I got it wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Angel from Montgomery. Yes.
This is documentary air quote. We talked about this with the Talking Heads. What was the name of that? The Talking Heads.
Stop Making Sense. Is that the one?
Stop Making Sense.
Yes.
This is like Stop Making Sense, where like you call it a documentary, it's a concert. With between each performance, they'll do like a quick interview or some interstitial thing before going to the next performance. But this is a celebration of John Prine. So this isn't going to be a deep dive. The seedy underbelly of what you thought John Prine was. This is not that. These are annual shows put together by Fiona Wayland Prine, John Prine's wife. And this was after his death, and she would get together a bunch of artists that were John Prine fans. And so the show that they put together would be like these famous artists coming together. I think they had like
Brandi Carlile, Casey Musgraves,
yes,
Tyler Childers, The War and Treaty, the great Lucinda Williams, Steve Earle,
Bonnie Raitt.
And Dwight Yoakam, and I love Jason Isbell. I'm a Jason Isbell fan. Lyle Lovett. I've seen Eric. I never leave the house. I've seen Lyle Lovett in concert. He's been one of the Him, Lyle Lovett, and Prince are probably the only two music luminaries I've seen in concert. So
There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is basically a bunch of artists, and they come in and they would do, and these are usually artists that have either played a show with John Prine, or maybe they've written a song with him, or he's written a song for them. They're connected with him in some way. And then they would do one of his songs, and then you do a little interstitial thing talking about how great John Prine was, and then go into the next one. So if you're looking for like a
exhaustive documentary about the ins and outs of his life and career, it's not.
This is not that. This is total puff piece. It's called a celebration of John Prine. These are people that love him, and this is a tribute to him.
It's an quote in the bag documentary type.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's also it's a concert film.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. And so with that being said, if you're looking for like deep insight into someone, this is not the documentary you want. If you're a fan of John Prine and you're a fan of the people we mentioned, if you're aware of
Are you a fan of the people we mentioned, Eric? Is that your type of music, or is it music that you're okay with if it's in your room, but it's not something that you slop up every day? You see what I'm saying? Is it tailored for you? Was this documentary tailored for your aesthetic?
I do like Bonnie Raitt quite a bit.
Okay.
So Bonnie Raitt for sure. Everyone else is like, yeah, I like them. They're not like I wouldn't run out by their albums, but if you're playing them, I'm like, hey, Dwight Yoakam, he's pretty cool. I mean, he's a great actor too, but like he's got some bangers. Brandi Carlile is one of those where Brandi Carlile is like one of those like I don't know a lot, but every time she pops up, I'm like, oh, she's got some good songs.
Yeah, she's got some chops. Yeah.
Tyler Childers, the same thing.
Jason Isbell's very good.
Tyler Childers, like working karaoke. Tyler Childers is like way popular. Like people love doing his songs.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, his songs are pretty good, even when the other people are singing them. But yeah, this is one of those concert. We'll call it concert film. It's one of those concert films. If you're a fan of John Prine, this is a no-brainer. You absolutely need to watch this. If you're familiar with a couple of songs, maybe I'll check them out. Then maybe this is for you.
And if you like this type of music, you mentioned the rotisserie of artists, then it's almost like, a no-brainer, right?
Sense, like Stop Making Sense was a little tough for me because I'm not a big Talking Heads fan.
Yeah, and I loved it because I'm not a big Talking Heads fan too, but I like the music a little bit more than you. So
exactly.
Yeah.
So Stop Making Sense would be more for you than it would be for me because like me not being a Talking Heads fan, watching Stop Making Sense didn't turn me on to Talking Heads.
Right.
It was just like, oh, I gotta sit through this.
If anything, you're going, oh my gosh, more performance art with some interesting music. Oh boy.
At the same time, if you're not familiar with John Prine, maybe check it out. Get a couple songs in. Yeah, I'm digging this. If you're feeling that way, you're gonna dig the rest of it because that's his style.
Right. For example, you might just be a huge fan of Angel from Montgomery because that's his most iconic song, and you might go into this and saying, I like Bonnie Raitt or Jason Isbell or Tyler Childers, and you might end up liking more of his music, possibly, right? Because
there's other angle to that with the Stop Making Sense. It's Talking Heads doing Talking Head songs. Not a fan of Talking Heads. It didn't have that much value add for me. Maybe I go into this, I've heard a couple John Prine songs, not a big fan. Maybe you're a fan when Brandi Carlile does the song.
That's very
maybe you're a fan when, maybe you're not a fan of the John Prine song, but maybe you're a fan when Dwight Yoakam does it.
I love it.
Angel from Montgomery, you probably heard the Bonnie Raitt version because that's
a million times.
That's the popular version of that.
Yeah.
But point is, like, it's one of those, if you're a fan, definitely watch. If you're a fan, this is a must watch. Okay. If you're not a fan, maybe give it a couple of songs and see if someone else's take on the song turns around to it. If you're curious, or if you're just in general a fan of that sort of music, yeah, check it out.
Okay.
It's not going to be a deep dive into John Prine, but that's not what it's for. It's just a concert film. You're either in or you're out, which is why this is a 3-star banger.
3-star banger from Eric Holmes. You Got Gold, a celebration of John Prine. It is now in theaters as of Friday, November 28th. It's in select. Actually, the national theatrical rollout starts today as of this recording. It's currently playing at the Quad in New York. It's being distributed by I always mispronounce this. Abramorama. Abramorama. Yeah. Just
Abramorama?
Abramorama. Oh yeah, Abramorama.
Sure.
Okay, so they're good. They put out some good stuff.
And also, if you watch this
Good
documentary, and this is something you dig, this is an annual concert that they have. So
Right.
So if you're watching this documentary, it's like, or this concert film, and you're like, "Ooh, this is rad. I would love to go to that." You can.
Is it still going on? Because I think when you interviewed her, they said they did a couple of those, and I don't know if she was not.
So the one for this documentary has already happened.
Right.
But it's an annual concert that they have.
Oh, cool.
So if you watch the documentary and this kind of tickles your fancy, it's an annual event. So maybe try to get tickets for the next one.
Okay. So if you want more information, you can go to yougotgoldmovie.com. It's running at 90 minutes. So if you're at a local theater and you want some John Prine music with a great selection of artists, step inside. Like Eric Holmes said, it's a concert film. Might be something you might need. So You Got Gold.
And again, maybe you're not a John Prine fan, but you like, and in spite of yourself, you watch someone else sing one of his songs.
Yeah. And
there was one where I can't remember the lady's name, but she did a song that her and John Prine were writing together. And keep in mind, I'm not huge into his discography
catalog, right? Okay.
Yeah. So I got the sense that this was a song that her and John Prine were working on but never released, and then she did it for the concert. I could be way off about that, but it sounded it came off. It was like, hey, this is a song we messed around with, and nothing ever came of it. But here's what it was. And then, so there's little bits of that kind of stuff in there too.
Okay, so that is 3 stars. A 3-star banger from Eric.
No, not 3-star. 3-star banger.
3-star banger.
So if you're into John Prine, this is like, why are you even listening to me? You're probably already watching the music.
All right, cool. That's our first review for this week. Next up is a movie called The Best You Can. It's out this week, not in theaters. If you are a shut-in like me and don't like leaving the house too much, you can purchase a movie or rent a movie on digital or on demand. This movie is called The Best You Can, and it centers on this guy. I forgot how to pronounce his last name, Steve played by Kevin Bacon. He is a security guard who has a problem with urinating. He has something, possibly a prostate problem.
It's like a prostate enlargement or something.
Right, and Bacon's character, he's Stan. He has a daughter played by Brittany O'Grady. Did Brittany O'Grady look familiar to you? His daughter? Who's a struggling singer-songwriter. She works at a coffee shop. Did you see her face before?
Was
Eric?
she? I think
yes, Eric. 3 weeks ago, we just reviewed a movie called In Our Blood, where she don't tell people who she played, but this is the handheld camera movie where she and someone else, they go into, I think, somewhere in New Mexico. Was it Las Cruces? And then they try to figure out. She tries to figure out what happened to her mother. Does that ring a bell, Eric?
It does.
Great. Okay. Okay. So, why are you saying? Oh, okay. You're thinking about.
I was thinking I cannot remember the Hearts Beat Loud. I was thinking it was her,
good. But I love that movie.
I don't think that was her.
But several weeks ago, Eric and I believe Bruce saw it as well. We reviewed a movie called In Our Blood. We did a spoiler.
Which, by the way, Hearts Beat Loud. There's a little bit in the. There's a little bit in this, especially towards the end.
You can, right. So again, Stan has a prostate problem. He's a security guard. He mainly works nights. Sometimes he can't go to a restaurant or an establishment to go in the bathroom and use the bathroom. So sometimes he will go to the neighborhoods that he patrols and pee in the bushes. One evening, he pees in a bush, and while he's peeing, there is an intruder that runs past him. And then he's thinking, what's going on? And he realizes that intruder was trying to break into this house. The house has a window open. Stan goes into the window. When he gets into the window, I believe it was a bat. The Kira Sedgwick character, she hits him upside the head, thinking that he's an intruder. And
he gets beat on a little bit.
He gets beat on a little.
Thankfully, he just got done peeing. Otherwise, he would have wet his pants right there.
Right. And is that the name? Yeah, I think the person's name is, my eyes are bad, Cynthia. That is played by
Cynthia Rand.
Yes, thank you, Eric. Cynthia is played by Kira Sedgwick, the real life companion, longtime companion of Kevin Bacon. I believe they're married. Aren't they married? They're just wonderful couple, probably Hollywood's best couple around. And yeah, Cynthia accidentally hits him thinking that he's an intruder, but he's not. And it's not a meet cute because she's married. She's married to this guy named Warren. Warren is played by iconic actor Judd Hirsch from Taxi, and he just has had a really wonderful career. Warren is about 20 to 25 years older than Cynthia, and Warren is undergoing early onset dementia right now. Not as pronounced, but he's starting to forget things. So he's on just the slower progression towards this mental deterioration.
He's on the way out.
He's on the way out. Okay. Right. He's on the way out. He's right now he's forgetting he's trying to write a book on Watergate because he was a big player around that time, around that Nixon era of Watergate. And he's trying to write this expose and he can't.
When was it Ray Romano's character that brought it up? Where she was like talking about like his advanced age and his dementia. It was like that how much older was he like when you guys started dating? Like how did you not know this was
exactly Eric? Yeah, Eric mentioned Ray Romano, who has a bit of a cameo, and he's actually not physically in the movie. He's physically on a Zoom. So Cynthia is talking to a fellow doctor played by Ray. The doctor is played by Ray Romano, and he's having that conversation with Cynthia about, hey, Cynthia, you knew what you were getting into some 20, 30 years ago when you were in your early 30s and he was in his late 50s. This day was going to happen. So he's part of the ensemble. We also mentioned again, Kevin Bacon is a security guard. In Our Bloods, Brittany O'Grady, she is, I believe her name is Sammy. She plays the daughter and she has a really unique voice. And you get to hear Brittany O'Grady sing. She's a very good singer and I'm assuming songwriter. I'm making sure, yeah. In Our Blood was a movie that we reviewed of Brittany O'Grady several weeks ago. I really enjoyed that movie. I don't think Eric was a huge fan of In Our Blood. He kind of, sort of, but I really loved In Our Blood. But let's get to the best you can. If you like Kevin Bacon and Kira Sedgwick, their chemistry, if you like them individually, Eric mentioned the word no-brainer for the previous film. This is a no-brainer watch if Kevin Bacon and Kira Sedgwick individually and together mean something to you as a cinephile. If you want to see their chemistry and acting really shine in this movie, you're going to get to see it. It's written and directed by who, Eric? Can you pronounce his last name correctly?
Michael J. Whitehorn. He's done like
King of Queens?
King of Queens, Family Ties. Like he's, you look up his IMDb. Like we talk about like those famous people, like their work, you might not know their name. Michael J. Whitehorn, look up his IMDb. You'll be like, oh, damn, they've done everything.
Right. I think if I'm going to click onto Michael J. Whitehorn right now on IMDb, and I believe that the show he's best known for is as a co-creator, like you mentioned, Eric, of King of Queens. I'm just going to make sure that that's correct. But if you are, again, if you're a fan of that TV series, this might be what you want to see because it's
worked on The Wonder Years.
Yeah.
Family Ties, Cheers, Benson. Like, come on.
Ned and Stacy. All right. Ned and Stacy. Yeah.
The Goldbergs.
Yeah. The King of Queens, Ned and Stacy. Yeah. So he's had a really huge career as a producer, writer. And I mean this in the best way. There are sitcom-y type elements in this movie regarding the humor. So if you have that aesthetic, that Michael J. Whitehorn aesthetic regarding his previous works, this will transfer over pretty well.
They got this chemistry. You want to see them get together, but Kira Sedgwick, like she's married to Judd Hirsch and he's got dementia. And so the idea that she would even consider having a romantic relationship with Kevin Bacon's character is like, come on.
That's the main question in the movie. Yeah. Are they going to get together or are they just friends?
Just like Baltimoreans, they set up this relationship that you want to see come together, knowing darn well that like morally that's
not good.
Yeah, it's not good. It's like we want to see them get together. They really can't.
I also have to mention
and I feel dirty wanting to wait for Judd Hirsch to die so they can get together morally correctly, but that just makes me feel bad. So there's that. It's exactly the Baltimoreans thing. And it works for a reason, because they
But
kind of you want the thing to happen and it can never happen, and you know why, they know why, and it's just messy. But also the rest of it is it's not a downer. It's definitely presented as fun, like uplifting rom-com, but it's a rom-com that can't happen.
right. And it also has its dramatic elements. There's some really good
Yes.
moments between Kevin Bacon's character and Brittany O'Grady, the father and daughter dynamic is, though it's not the main story in the film, it has a prominent place within the story. And it's great to see Stan's a lovable guy, security guard,
Yeah.
salt of the earth, but you know he has his issues. So you're wondering will Stan's issues affect his relationship with the daughter? That's not a spoiler because we all know that. We take on maybe what the quote sins of the father or mother. You see a little bit of that transference, that conflict within the father and daughter, and it's some really good dramatic sequences here. Also, the interplay between Stan and Cynthia regarding will they or won't they get together. There's some really interesting nuance. Of course, it's a wrong thing to do. Whether or not they get together or not, we're not going to tell you. But the other part of it is they're also from different socioeconomic levels of society. She has a beautiful place with her husband in Brooklyn, and he has a rinky-dink apartment someplace further from her. And he ends up almost in a couple instances being a hired help for her for some reason, and she helps him. Oh, by the way, they're also born on the same year and the same day. That's a big coincidence. And then another huge coincidence is Eric was mentioning he has prostate problems at the beginning of this review.
And she's a urologist.
She's she's a urologist. So whoops, there's another big coincidence.
I keep peeing. Hey, I can help you with that.
And I think one of the prerequisites for you to enjoying this movie is to just go along with the fantasy of the huge coincidence. And Michael J. Whitehorn makes that coincidence really big and clear when he says, hey, these are two people who are born the same day in the same year. Just throw your logic out the window regarding her occupation and how they actually link up together as friends.
That's just what it leads to. These are two people you want to see get together, and they can't.
Right.
She's married. Not only is she married, she's married because usually with movies like this, oh, I can't get with you. I got a boyfriend. I got a husband, whatever. And then the old model of this was, oh, the husband's an a-hole. The boyfriend's an a-hole.
Attention, right? Or
and
they're
everybody,
cheaters.
everybody, they're toxic in some way. So the audience wants you to break away from them just in general. So with this, and then also with Baltimore, similar thing. This kind of the new trick is like, hey, I'm married. I got a boyfriend. I got whatever. Well, there's nothing wrong with. So not only do you want to see them get together, but there's no reason to break away from the person they're currently with. And in fact, it would be a jerk move for them to do that, especially when this person that had been with you their whole life needs you the most.
Right. And we also have to mention, this might look from the onset as a romantic comedy. There are comedic elements, but it is, but there are some serious character flaws that each of these people face.
Which is exactly what I just described.
Yeah, it's exactly. They have some serious character flaws, which is very, very interesting. I'm not going to mention what the best you can is in reference to the title of the movie, but it has a prominent place regarding the third act of the film. And I really love the title of The Best You Can. Some really good nuanced performances from Kevin Bacon and Kira Sedgwick. Judd Hirsch is fine with what he has to do. Yes, Eric?
Oh, without giving away the ending, if this gives it away, cut it. But there's some schmaltz at the end that kind of works in the same way that Dreamin' Wild does.
Okay, no, there's nothing wrong with each of that. Yeah,
okay. It was like it's kind of like.
Oh no, we can expect schmaltz in this type of movie.
They're playing music, and it's got a meta break sort of, because Kevin Bacon also beyond being an actor, he's also a musician. So watching him play with his daughter, kind of adds Look, sometimes you need that schmaltz coming in because it makes you feel good.
No, there's nothing spoiler stuff you mentioned. I'm glad
Okay.
you mentioned. No, I'm glad that you mentioned Kevin Bacon playing, because I think he used to have the Bacon brothers. I don't know if they still.
Yeah.
Oh, right. But you get to see him play with Brittany O'Grady. That's not a spoiler. There is actually some music. Music plays a prominent role in this movie. A lot of it is being performed by Brittany O'Grady and, like Eric mentioned, Kevin Bacon. So it's nice to see that good music, the romantic comedy solid, the acting solid. I liked all the dramatic elements that Eric was mentioning in his review. I was surprised about how much I enjoyed The Best You Can. And there's also a sequence, and this is mini spoilery, but I'll say this. There's a really interesting conversation, monologue-ish type of conversation between Bacon and Sedgwick towards the end of the movie that really worked for me. Really, really worked for me. So The Best You Can, directed and written by Michael J. Whitehorn, for me, 4 stars.
What's
4 stars.
Real quick, what's the monologue? Without giving away, like, can you kind of hint towards what that is? Because I'm not quite sure.
Right. Let's just say the monologue was done when they were not standing up. Okay. So you can remember that visual reference.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah. Eric, what is your final thoughts and rating on The Best You Can?
I'm 4.5 on this one.
Oh, wow. Cool.
I think, and I hate doing this. I think I like Baltimoreans a little better, but this one was completely enjoyable. I would say if you watch the Baltimoreans and you dug that, check out The Best You Can, because Baltimoreans and Best You Can would make for a fantastic double feature. Because they both have that same kind of flavor to them.
Nice flavor, yeah.
Yeah. And in fact, if you want a triple feature, do Baltimoreans, Hearts Beat Loud, Best You Can. There's a triple feature. Just because of the music element. There's not much of it in Best You Can, but that connects this Baltimoreans and Hearts Beat Loud.
Eric, remember on Patreon, can't give too much away, when I surprised you with something about a person who started in the Day Trippers, and you ended up interviewing them? Huh? How'd that make you feel? Were you kind of like, oh, Greg, you're a good researcher. Yeah. Do I get a pat on the back for that?
It made me feel like Judd Hirsch in this movie.
Wow. Do you like Candyland? Do you like Candyland?
I do. I love Candyland.
Candyland starred this actress named Olivia Luccardi. Do you like the Baltimoreans? Do you like the Baltimoreans? You just said it, right?
Olivia Luccardi, yes.
Yes. Do you like The Best You Can? Which also stars.
Oh, she's in all 3. This is awesome.
Yeah. So Olivia, and this is both our faults, because Olivia Luccardi also stars in The Best You Can. She has, I'm not saying a minor role, a good supporting role. She plays a person who works at a local.
I'm putting a pin in her name because she's 3 for 3.
She's awesome.
Love Candyland, love Baltimoreans, love this.
So now the memory's jogging as far as her as an actress, and
yes,
yeah, Olivia Luccardi. Okay,
specifically, how did I not put that together?
Okay, well that's we help each other. No, we help each other with this stuff. So for The Best You Can, Olivia Luccardi, she plays an employee at a grocery.
Greg, here's the thing. Soon I'll be dead, and then Kira Sedgwick, my wife, Kira Sedgwick, will be free to start dating Kevin.
Exactly. That's the premise for, right? The Best Eric Holmes Can. That's the name of the movie. But Olivia Luccardi, again, she plays an employee at a local, maybe bodega in New York, I believe, in the city. She's a cashier, or I don't know, grocery store, supermarket. She's a cashier there, and she has an interesting sexting relationship with Kevin Bacon's character, and it's very cool. And I have to admit, I still have not seen the Baltimoreans, but I do love Candyland, and I do love this movie, and I love Olivia Luccardi. I'm excited to see her performance in the Baltimoreans.
Watch,
yeah,
and then just, you know what, screw it. Go back and watch this one again.
Okay, all right. Well, in credit to you, Eric, because in
Olivia Luccardi, any movie she's in, apparently watch it because they're all great.
Very, very good. Or I'm assuming if they're not the best movie in the world, I bet you she's going to be still good in them. I'll say that.
Oh, I know exactly which character you're talking. She was great in this. Because she's kind of like on the Patreon. Check out our Patreon, bam, thing we do. But the Marcia Gay Harden character in Day Trippers, that's Olivia Lucardi's character in this. Yes. She's not in it a lot, but she's a great character in this.
And it's a well-written character. It could have been, that character could have been written so one note and so obvious, but it's well done. It's a well done.
It's weird because it's one note.
Right. I know what you're saying.
But it's got that little extra stank on it where it's like, it's kind of
interesting.
It works. I dig your character in this.
Her character, even though it's a small role, it has agency to it. It's a one note, supposedly one note character, but it has that
I guess let me rephrase that. It feels one note, but that's because right away we know what her character's about, what she wants, and who she is.
Yeah.
Like in a short amount of time, we get this character almost completely.
But when she shows up later in the story, she doesn't do predictable things for that type of character.
Well, that would be cool. That would be stuff that a character would do. Like I think again, when you say one note, like I agree because like in that one note, I totally get what she's about. And so the stuff that would be predictable, but it's not in this because I already get what she is. And I know why she's cool with what's going on.
Oh, she's
because her wants and needs are pretty clear almost immediately.
And I guess I don't have to put words in your mouth. I'm assuming she's really good in the Baltimoreans as well. So. Yes. Wow. Okay, so Eric, a little bit of light bulb thing going on.
I don't know how I didn't pick up on any of that.
Very good. No. Very,
I'm
very
a Colorado moron.
And I suck even more because I still haven't seen the Baltimoreans. But okay, so this is for the best you can. 4.5 stars from Eric Holmes, 4 stars from me, currently on digital and on demand. If you purchase a link, we use our Amazon links on our show notes. If you purchase or rent this movie, we get a slight commission. Me, Bruce, Eric, and Anderson. So help CinemAddicts out or not. Don't use a link. Just purchase it on whatever digital platform you want and tell us. I think most importantly, tell us what you think of this movie once you see it. All right. So that is it for the best you can. Eric, you have one more thing you want to talk about before we get to our signed Patreon pick. This Ordinary Thing. Hey guys, what's up? Sorry for the weird transitions. My fault on this. We were going to talk about this documentary as Eric is moving like Matrix of this documentary called This Ordinary Thing. But unfortunately, I was going to say my fault and take accountability, but I'm going to just say it's Eric's fault because he was thinking about the Baltimoreans, The Best You Can, Candyland, and Olivia Lucardi.
I'm doing the best I can.
And he was being such an ordinary thing for this thing called This Ordinary Thing, which actually should be covered on December 5th. So that's why you're having this transition. But it will be worth listening and checking out Eric's review of This Ordinary Thing, a documentary that's, well, all we're going to say. That's all. Eric's not going to even say it. I'm saying it for him. That's going to be for next week, for the week of December 5th. And hopefully I'll get to see this documentary. Maybe Bruce, who knows? But Bruce is up in the attic eating this really weird cheeseburger that Eric Holmes just made him at the top of the show. So I don't know if he'll be well enough to do This Ordinary Thing. So count on me and Eric to cover this documentary as well as an interview, I believe, with the filmmaker Nick Davis that Eric had. Yeah, he has that in the bag. You'll hear some more stuff from This Ordinary Thing next week. You want to say anything else? A little bit of teaser before we get into our other assigned pick about This Ordinary Thing for next week.
This Ordinary Thing, World War II documentary. Right about there, we got a poster for a movie called Valkyrie.
Okay. Right.
Directed by Bryan Singer.
Right. Yeah. But the movie itself,
the movie Valkyrie talked about we always hear about the Nazis that came in and did their atrocities. You don't hear a lot about the people that fought back.
Okay.
And fighting back's an ordinary thing that you might do.
Right.
For someone, because why wouldn't you?
Right, well.
You're human, you're compassionate, might be tough. Might be tough, might be incredibly risky. Might be something that could get you killed. Who knows? But as dumb as humans can be, and as
selfish as they can be,
as selfish as it can be, as often as humans can
self-serving,
as many times as humans can often make the worst decisions for themselves when it comes to helping others. Not when it comes to helping others in concept, but when it comes to helping others, like it's put in front of you, it's hard to say no. And this documentary plays with that idea pretty well.
Very cool.
And we'll talk more about it next week, but also this is Emma's special.
Oh, Emma's a great publicist that works with Eric Holmes.
Whenever Emma brings me something, I'm like, this is gonna be good, and
very cool.
Emma banger.
Oh,
that's
a spoiler. That's a spoiler review. You just said another banger.
And it's an Emma banger, which is not a spoiler. It's what it is.
It's what it is, right? How can it be a spoiler?
If Emma recommends a movie to me, it's like, this is gonna be good. It's like Matty Doe. Matty Doe comes out with a movie. Yeah. It's like, we know this is gonna be a 5-star movie. It's just a matter of how high or low the 5 stars is going to be.
So you can trust Emma's projects, what you're saying. So it's not even a spoiler. We're just
not even so much her projects, but when she gets a project and she gets excited about it.
Okay, very good. Yeah. Very good. So she's a lot different than someone like me and you, because when you and I get excited for a project, it's usually a grade Z or grade B feature starring Dermot Mulroney or someone else, and it's coming out by Saban Films and Lionsgate, and you and I love it so much, and then everyone hates us for that recommendation, right? Is that what happens to us?
Look, I cannot help that everyone is wrong, that they hate movies that are great.
Right.
Look,
right.
If Michael Jai White's in the movie, I mean,
banger.
Someone's like, it sucks. I'm like, that's a you problem. That's not a me problem.
Hey, if you don't like Isaac Florentine movies, not my problem.
Nope.
Right? Uwe Ball? Interesting.
There's Uwe Ball movies that you could hate that I'm like, I get it. But then there's other ones that's like, trying on this one. It kind of works. So
okay, so just give us a break, folks. I know some of you cinematics hate it.
Regarding Uwe Ball, if you watch House of the Dead and said this movie sucked, I'm not going to push back on it. I agree with you. If you watch Postal and you said that movie sucked, I don't know what freaking movie you just watched. That movie's freaking awesome.
Very, very cool on Uwe Ball. And anyways, This Ordinary Thing. Eric Holmes will have an interview. Have an interview, of course, with I believe Nick Davis for next week, as well as a review. I will hop on that bandwagon and review it with Eric next week on CinemAddicts. But we're going to close this section of the show. Bruce Berkey's coming up in a few moments with an assigned pick from Patreon member Ryan Smith. There is this film called Dobermann. Dobermann. I never heard of this. Why are you laughing, Eric? Dobermann. What? Oh, no reason?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You have no idea about this movie called Dobermann. It's not spelled like... It's spelled with 2 N's. Dobermann. Quote, here is a plot summary. Dobermann is the world's most ruthless bank robber and his gang rob bank after bank in Paris. What can the police do to stop him and his gang? That's the premise of this movie, which is actually, it's directed, and don't say loosely directed. It's directed, Eric. It's directed by this guy. What is it? My eyes are horrible. Jan Kounen, Kounen, written and directed by Jan Kounen, and it stars Monica Bellucci. It stars Lahane actor, help me out here. Yeah, Vincent Cassel and Checky Cario. Checky Cario plays the cop, the investigator, who ends up in the second half of the movie trying to track down the main bad guy and his crew. The main bad guy is played by Vincent Cassel.
Real quick, it starts with a wonderful, almost too realistic CGI.
Baby.
No CGI opening titles. The CGI Doberman. I mean, it looked completely realistic.
Yeah, there's a sequence with a baby and a gun. I believe it was a shotgun and
no, it was
revolver. Revolver? Yeah, revolver.
I don't know if it was definitely a handgun of some sort.
Okay.
It goes flying and it lands into baby Doberman's hands. It's like, and that's how he birthed the action star, this Doberman.
Right. And of course, there's literally a Doberman who goes into this church. I think the baby was getting baptized or something. That goes into the church to even raise the ruckus.
Guns and dogs, I guess.
Guns and dogs. And ultimately, I think the baby in the opening moments, wasn't the baby thrown or something? There's something that happens really crazy.
No, they throw the gun.
They throw the gun and the gun, and lands.
And so you think the gun's going to land in there, go off and kill the baby. But what happens is the baby in that carriage catches the gun, and they're like, oh, he's going to be a little serial killer when he grows up. Isn't that cool?
Right. In fairness, it's more like a person who loves guns and is a bank robber and possible killer. Possible. It's an ultra-violent movie, let's face it. Okay. And I will say this, Checky Cario, I don't know if you were a fan of his stuff. He's best known for his work in La Femme Nikita. He passed away several months ago. And if you look at his IMDb, Eric, he's had a really good, illustrious career. I primarily remember him from La Femme Nikita, but then over the years, I've seen him in a whole bunch of movies. I'm going through his IMDb right now. But he's just been a very good lead actor, very good character actor, and he's just an interesting. I remember him in that movie, The Good Thief. I'm looking at from 2002. I believe that was directed by, who was it directed by? Neil Jordan, and he was in The Patriot. So he's had his share of very interesting movies. And again, he passed away several months ago. And rest in peace to Checky Cario. And I've never seen Wing Commander, but yeah, Eric.
I used to play the video game, but let's not be around the bush. This movie's stupid.
In a good way or a bad way?
I don't know, because this is definitely like a post Tarantino knockoff for sure. Where I'm unclear is this a Tarantino knockoff, or is this a spoof of Tarantino knockoffs? And I want to get your thoughts on this.
I think the answer to that is former. It's a knockoff of a Tarantino type movie, or like people like to say, homage to that type of movie. Yeah. This is obviously 1997, a signed pick from Patreon member Ryan Smith. So if it's 1997, there's a lot of these type of movies being made post Pulp Fiction, post Reservoir Dogs. Doberman fits into that category.
But see, the thing is, like, you got
it's not a lock.
Post Tarantino movies would be like Snatch, for example, would be a post Tarantino movie. Mm-hmm. But Snatch isn't stupid. Like, Snatch is still good on its own. Boondock Saints is definitely a post Tarantino movie, but Boondock Saints kind of works as its own thing. This feels like it's spoofing that whole thing.
I can see where you're coming from. Because
Doberman,
there's a comedic energy to it, a little bit of that energy.
Yeah, definitely. But the comedic energy comes from when you're watching this going, are the filmmakers taking this serious? Like, do they think they're being cool? Like, are they being just so ridiculous but think they're being cool? Or are they pushing that ridiculousness to the point of like, yeah, this is what they do, so let's just... so I wrote that like 3 or 4 pages of a Greg Slick movie where it was just completely ridiculous. But the whole point of it was let's make this stupid. I can't tell if Doberman's being stupid on purpose.
I think on purpose. I think it's very I think it's purposeful, and it's like you were saying. It's
Doberman trying to be stupid to become a spoof, or is it trying to be cool and it thinks it's awesome and it just comes off as stupid? That's where I'm having trouble.
I think they're just trying to push the envelope and the violence, and there is some sex in this movie as well. Just trying to push that aesthetic envelope within this genre of film, make it a highly energetic action film. And it's also offensive at points. And I think that was intentional in its attempt to be pretty offensive.
All right.
So that's my take on it, on Doberman. But
this movie's a masterpiece. But if it's trying to be like serious, like,
I don't know.
We're dark, seedy underbelly.
No way.
Blah.
It's not trying to be serious. No.
This is a movie that if you take it one way, this is like a 1-star movie.
This is a pulpy movie. This is drenched in, well, we mentioned Pulp Fiction, but it is drenched in pulp, comic book-esque type of, it's heightened reality, of course, especially with some of the kills in this movie. It's gross and it's a showy movie. Everything is intentional, Eric. So whether it's stupid or over the top or offensive, the answer to that question is yes. Everything is yes to Doberman. Yeah.
That this movie's kind of like a racist joke. If they're taking it seriously, like, oh, you thought it, I was thinking it, and you said it. It was like, no, you're just a racist. Not funny. If you're doing it because you're trying to be like ridiculous, like this is insane that someone would do this or think this, then yeah, maybe the joke works. But this rides that line, like, is this the racist joke that knows it's racist because it's I shouldn't have brought that up, but here we are. Is this a
You brought racism into Doberman.
I did, but you know what? Family show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is this a racist joke that knows it's pushing the limits and knows it's making knows it's making a ridiculous point, in which case, yeah, okay, this is a joke that maybe works, maybe doesn't. Or is this the I was thinking it, you said it, which goes the completely opposite way of, oh, this is not a joke, you really think this.
No.
Is this a post-Tarantino movie that thinks it's awesome, but it's like, you know what? Here's something that works better than the whole racist angle and much less offensive. The Room. Oh, hi, Mark. People like that movie because it's ridiculous. And then the director, I cannot remember his name now. But he was like, oh yeah, I meant to make it that way. No, you didn't.
I think it's all intentional.
This was not made to be loud. This was not made as a comedy. You made this legit, and then people thought it was funny because you took it earnestly, and it just came off as ridiculous. Is Doberman earnest? Then it sucks. If it's
no, it's not earnest. It's not. It's written by Joel Hussin, Houssin. Hussin, yeah, Joel Hussin, yeah, whoever that is. And then I'm not familiar with the director. Again, like I said, John Cunningham, and it'll be interesting to see if he actually made more movies like Doberman. But everything I think
apparently they were supposed to make they were trying to make a sequel of this at one point. The director has made a movie that I saw, Renegade. It's a Western.
Oh,
I bought this on DVD back in the day because you look at the poster on it, looks cool, and I checked it out, and it was over stylized and not great, which leads me to believe that Doberman might be accidentally a brilliant movie, but I don't know that it was intentional.
I think this movie is very self-aware, very intentional, very offensive to some people. Currently on Rotten Tomatoes, critics gave it 63%. Popcorn Meter, which is the audience, gave it 80%. I love Doberman. I absolutely love this movie. 4.5 out of 5 stars for me.
Oh, wow.
Checky Cario as the police investigator who's on the trail of Doberman and his crew. His girlfriend's played by Monica Bellucci. She's basically his right-hand woman. She helps him in these robberies. A lot of the movie takes place in a nightclub where they're celebrating. Part of it is taking place there. There's a lot of violence that happens there. Also, the Checky Cario performance. He is fantastic in this movie. He goes even though the movie's about Doberman, I feel like he steals the show as that police official, that cop who will do anything to get these bad guys. And he is so brilliant in this film. And I'm glad now, several months after his passing, I got to see this really amazing Checky Cario performance. Vincent Cassel and Monica Bellucci are also very good, but I feel that he steals the show. I will say this, Eric was doing all this stuff about whether it's intentional or not, is it brilliant or really stupid? It will have its share of detractors. I'm sorry?
Maybe it's both.
Maybe it's both. This movie will have its share of detractors, and people will say, this movie is just so offensive. There's a sequence where one of the robbers has an alter ego. I'm not going to give too much away what that is, but Eric mentioned racism. There's a lot of offensive stuff that happens in this movie. And regarding that character, there is a sexual joke in that is really offensive, but it was really funny.
I will say, given when this came out, that's in line with the times.
Par for the course, yeah.
Not saying it's right or wrong, but that was not That was pretty common. Jokes like that were unfortunately very common at the time.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, Doberman. I really loved everything about this movie. It's just one of these things. I was on the train ride. I'm so bad. I feel. Thank you, Ryan Smith, for this recommendation. I feel bad that I never even heard of this movie. I like Vincent Cassel. I like Monica Bellucci. I love them both in Irreversible. How did I not know this movie did not exist? I'm sure Anderson probably saw it somewhere along the way, or if he hasn't, I'm gonna highly recommend it that Anderson try to give this movie a shot. I don't know, it's 4.5 stars for me. What about you, Eric? Final thoughts and rating?
Oh God, I don't know.
Wow.
I will say this was definitely entertaining. I don't know if it was entertaining for the right reasons, but at the very least that towards the end where a dude's head turns into a skin crayon when it's hung outside the door.
Okay. Yeah.
That was a pretty good scene. So
pretty good scene. Yeah.
It's got some good action in it. Definitely over stylized. This is either offensive, god awful action movie, a derivative action movie, or it's brilliant. I'm not sure, but I will say it was entertaining regardless. So 4 stars.
4 stars from Eric Holmes. Okay,
I
good.
I don't know if it was entertaining for the right reasons or not, but
I understand where you're going.
I
with
guess
that.
at the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, I think it's good that I will say it does matter because at least you were trying to figure out yourself in this review what to give it, and
that doesn't matter as far as
right
the score goes.
Yeah,
and honestly, star rating doesn't matter either.
Oh no, I disagree with that, Eric. What is that? What are you saying? I'm gonna keep that in the show, by the way. I'm not gonna cut that comment. The stars aren't part of it.
It's like, oh, it's a 4-star movie. Cool for you. For me, what does that mean?
That's
Doesn't
true.
mean anything.
That is okay. Okay. All right. Yeah, I can see that. Eric Holmes, 4 stars for Doberman. Me, 4.5 stars for Doberman. You, dear listener.
It honestly should be a 1.5 stars, but it could go either way.
Okay, tell us what you think of Doberman.
The weird thing is, I don't want to give this a 3-star banger.
Oh, because it doesn't exceed its genre.
3-star
Okay,
banger.
Well, 4 stars from Eric Holmes for Doberman. 4.5 stars for me. Tell us what you think of Doberman. As of this recording, it's currently streaming on Prime Video. I might just infest our CinemAddicts Facebook group members and say, hey, everyone, free movie on Prime Video. It's called Doberman. It's a guilty pleasure action film, and that's all I'm going to say. Eric and I gave it. What?
If you're part of the CinemAddicts movie club and you haven't,
if you need a movie recommendation,
maybe it's your turn to pick a movie.
What's great, folks, about this, and we're going to close it right now because we're going to head over to Bruce Perky over at the Cinematic. Remember, December, Christmas, holiday, Hanukkah month. We're doing the year 2011. Get us your picks. Email us your picks or put some comments. We're going to get on the ball early for this one. So 2011, tell us some movies that you want us to review, again, for the $5 catch-all over at CinemAddicts Patreon. Whether you support us or not on Patreon, whether or not you support us on our YouTube channels or Facebook page, or watch our CinemAddicts reels or listen to Eric's interviews, or maybe you do all that stuff. We just appreciate all the support. And I will say, Eric's going to say something before we get out of here, but I think the good news to listen to the next Cinematic with Bruce Perky in a few moments. Doberman is the kind of movie that Bruce Perky eats up like it's his type of movie.
It isn't.
He loves it. He loves it. He called me the other night, and he never calls people. First of all, he barked like the Doberman at the beginning, and then he asked me, "Are there any merch shirts for Doberman?" And I said, "Come on, Bruce."
Doberman's the kind of movie that you can give a 6.9 star or a 0 star, and you would be right.
What I was saying, no, Bruce, Doberman is not better than Pulp Fiction. It's not better than One Battle After Another. It's still a very good movie. But then he yelled at me and said I should learn how to watch movies. So that's how much he loves Doberman. What, right? It's a Bruce Perky type of movie. Bruce Perky, I hope you're listening to these comments.
Anyone that knows Bruce knows that this is the kind of movie he loves the most.
Oh, wow. Yes. Well, the first one is, yeah.
But with 2011, yes, 2011 movies.
Yes.
Those are the kind of movies you pull out of the woodwork.
Right.
Maybe we love them. Maybe we hate them. Maybe it's a movie like Doberman where it's like, I don't even know what to think of this. It's just
what you did, Ryan Smith. You see, you made Eric. I just figure out what's going on, and you made me. You made the dark side of Greg Strzavosky come out with his
by the
4.5
way,
star rating. What is going on,
The
Ryan?
4 stars I gave for Doberman, don't do that seriously at all.
Oh, and
I don't even know what 4 stars means for Doberman. I don't know what any star rating means for Doberman.
I'm going to tell you something right now.
That Doberman happened to me. It's not a movie I watch. It happened to me.
Okay, I'm going to tell you. 4.5 stars for me. It means Doberman is a great movie. Go check it out. I mean it. But it's not going to be for everyone. I would say this. It's not going to be for everyone. Now, we're done with Doberman. Thank you, Cinematics, folks.
I don't think we're done with Doberman. Doberman's like hip-hop witch. It's just gonna like
keep it.
linger on forever.
Okay, Eric. We'll make sure everyone in our Cinematics Facebook group watches Doberman. It's gonna be a must for this year and maybe next year. So this is gonna be okay. We're on the mission. I get the mission, Eric. We're gonna get it. But right now, before we get on the mission, let's embark to the latest adventure over at the Cinematic. Here's Bruce Burke.
Hey everybody, we are here for another Cinematic Addict of Cinema. I was let down yesterday for 1 whole hour because it was like Thanksgiving, and Eric is so generous and thankful he let me come down. I had a tiny plate of, I don't know what it was. I assume it was human food. I just took it in the thankful spirit of the season and had my small little dinner out in the main house, and before I was sent back up to the attic to finish the movies for this week. Now, being Thanksgiving week and also being the last week of the season or of the month, we have Patreon coming, so this is going to be a shorter regular episode. And with Thanksgiving, it makes it even a shorter regular episode. I don't really have any true screeners, but I do have some new things. So I have 2 new things, new-ish things within the last 2 weeks on Netflix. I've got the show called, oh my gosh, I've already forgotten the name of it. I've got Death by Lightning. I've also got a series, season 2 of a series called Missing Dead or Alive, season 2, which should just have dropped by the time you get this within the last day or so. I also have a movie from 1997 for our main episode here, and that is a movie I'd never even heard of, Dobermann. And then we have 2 movies on our actual Patreon episode. If you're not a Patreon, you'll be able to hear what's on there. But if you are a Patreon, you get to actually listen to the episode. We will be talking about the 2 1997 movies, The Day Trippers, and The Game. Okay, let's get to this episode here. Let's start out with Death by Lightning. This series has been out on Netflix now for a couple weeks. And this is one where I had a preview screener for it, and I didn't watch it. And that is a good indication for you that sometimes it's hard from first impressions to know if something's going to be interesting to you. Now, the description of this is going to sound possibly very dull, but I think the series is actually quite good. First of all, off the top, one thing you should know about Death by Lightning. It is a mini-series. It is 4 episodes long. It is a fictional narrative. Not fictional. It's a historical narrative, I'm sure with a lot of fictional elements. And it is much more interesting than the subject might think it would be. So it takes place in late 1800s, and it surrounds the real life, sort of the very short-lived president, James Garfield. James Garfield is one of those footnotes in history where you're like, I've heard the name. What is James Garfield known for? He's known for a couple things. He's known for, I think, having the shortest term of any president, like just a few months. And that's because he was assassinated very early in his presidency. And you're thinking to yourself, this is after the Civil War, a few years. So it's, like I said, it's late 1800s, mid-late. And you're just like, well, it doesn't sound like there'd be much of a story there. The story actually starts in the 60s or 70s, and there's this kind of big archive area, probably in the Smithsonian someplace. I don't remember if it said. And while they're moving stuff around, out rolls this jar, dusty old jar, dated. And on the jar, it says, get the name right here, Charles Guiteau. And there's a brain inside. And you're like, who is Charles Guiteau? Well, Charles Guiteau is the person who assassinated James Garfield. And thus begins the basic the basic story of this movie. And that is this movie series, whatever, it's a 4-part series only, probably about I guess equivalent of a 3.5-hour movie if you jammed it all together. Essentially is the story of, right at the beginning, how Garfield becomes president and how his number one fan, Charles Guiteau, becomes his assassin. And first of all, let me give you some of the cast here, because the cast is fantastic. And unlike many like late 1800s kind of period piece sort of movies or series, they're very stuffy usually. They're very, I don't know, it's not the right time period exactly, but Bridgerton or something like that. Like very, I don't know, very much about manners and stuff. All the trappings are here for it to be that way, but this is a very active and vibrant and really, to me, a very entertaining piece of media. So the actors you have here, you have Matthew McFadden as Guiteau, and I didn't recognize that name, but I recognized the face almost immediately. He is in Succession as the son-in-law, the always fawning and booty-kissing son-in-law. And if you remember that guy, you'll go, okay, I can see him as being the assassin guy. You've also got Michael Shannon as Garfield, and Michael Shannon is bearded, and all of them are bearded in those days, right? Bearded, and he looks almost unrecognizable. For a while, I was like, that's Michael Shannon? That's Michael Shannon? The voice even doesn't really, it just doesn't seem like him. But he does a great job. And then you've got, on top of that, you've got Betty Gilpin as Garfield's wife, Crete. You've got Nick Offerman as Charles Arthur, the vice president to Garfield. And then along with that, you've got a bunch of other people, including Shea Wiggum and Bradley Whitford, just a bunch of people. Now, the best ways to sell this to you, I think I would say, is, first of all, does it have a lot of the politics and the machinations behind the scenes of the time? Yes, it does, but not in the boring sense. Like I said, I brought up Succession. I think it would in some ways fit in with that, where it's like this there's a lot of, like I said, a lot of scheming, there's a lot of backstabbing, there's a lot of plotting. Even the fact that Garfield becomes president, in the first episode, you discover how he almost accidentally becomes president. And I'll let you discover how that happens. But let's just say Garfield had no interest, and I'm serious, no interest, according to this at least, no interest in becoming president. He did not want to be president, and yet he becomes president. On the other hand, you've got Guiteau, who in a lot of ways is the main goal, or not the main goal, the main, I guess they're co-leads. I guess Guiteau and Garfield are co-leads, because you're watching the two types of people. They paint Garfield as almost an unbelievably idealistic and principled person in the presidency, which you just don't get ever. It's very, very difficult to have. And the fact that we had it for this short period of time, that's kind of the arc, or the way they're presenting Garfield. On the other hand, you've got Guiteau, and Guiteau is almost like the first historical version, and I'm sure he isn't, but presented here in a way that you don't rarely see of things from this time period. The first super obsessive, toxic fanboy type. This is the guy who Hinckley. He's like a Hinckley from the 1800s. And Hinckley, he was obsessed with Taxi Driver and with Jodie Foster, and went on to try to assassinate President Reagan. Very similarly, this guy is a grade A huckster, loser, always angling somehow to get into something, and he sees Garfield as his way to get fame and to be acknowledged for his awesomeness just by association. And very much like a fanboy or whatever, he tries everything he can to get into that universe, and he thinks deludedly that he is in part of that universe. And of course that leads to him eventually assassinating Garfield. Watching the two different characters work through this world that's almost like not a foreign, but almost like an alien landscape, because it's so far removed from us, but also watching how obviously similar it is in some ways too. It's really, really great. Some fantastic character work. It's always interesting. It has humor to it. mostly in the situation, not like ha-ha, guffaw, laugh out loud humor, but like the humor of just the absurdness of some of the situations that pop up, and just how these, especially the character of Gateau, tries to worm his way into everything, but also this kind of inevitable doom that you know is coming your way. And the more you get to know Garfield, the more you're like dreading that that's going to happen, because you actually start to think like, wow, we have this fantastic person in the presidency all of a sudden. And of course, from history, that is doomed. Really, really great. I'm going to give Death by Lightning, and once again, a one and done, 4 episodes. That's unheard of, unless it's a documentary that should be one and done. but as a dramatic series, a four and done is like unheard of. I'm going to go 4.5 stars. I think Death by Lightning is fantastic. Really, really good. Okay, Missing Dead or Alive. I don't have a ton to say about this other than season 2, and I've watched both seasons, and they're pretty easy to watch. Each season is not that long. They are maybe 6 or 5 episodes, and they're 35, 40 minutes, something like that. It's a documentary crime miniseries, but I think it has more to offer to you than a lot of these do. First of all, it is basically following the missing persons unit in the South Carolina Police Department. And both seasons are pretty much the same in that what they'll do is they'll follow particular cases from the beginning. So they must basically just have these documentarians just embedded with them for some kind of a time period. And they just attach themselves to the unit. And there will be basically a case will come in, and it may end up being only, 20 minutes of an episode. Or a case may end up being much more complicated, and it might end up going for 2.5 episodes, while other small cases come through as well. And what I really like about this series is, unlike the over-dramatized after-the-fact murder kind of shows, the whole point of this is to see how these kind of police officers, the ones that we're watching, are genuinely trying to do good and genuinely trying to find people before they're dead, generally. I mean, that's, of course, always the worry, is that they're going to die. Or in some cases, worry that they're going to end up into, being trafficked or something like that. Because, of course, you get teenage girls go missing, you get kids that go missing, you get elderly adults that go missing, you get people on the fringes of society that go missing. All kinds of different people go missing. And the other thing I like about it is, unlike just a murder crime documentary series where every episode is about some heinous murder and kind of giving us the gory details, this plays out more like a mystery, and it has the unpredictability and mundaneness sometimes of real police cases. Sometimes the person just shows up and it isn't a big deal. Sometimes the person does end up dying. Sometimes it's somewhere in between, and there was something really dangerous, but the person was missing for a reason that we didn't even suspect and that we don't even know about until they discover what it is. So I think if you are interested in kind of a side of police work that you don't really consider or don't think about very much, and that is missing persons cases, and not just the lurid serial killer murder cases, which not dominates 99% of these true crime series. If you want something that's a little bit different and a little bit, to me it's a little more defensible and a little more, I don't know. It seems like it's better in a lot of ways. And I watched some of those other shows, don't get me wrong, but at least you don't feel as gross and icky watching this show. I'm going to go 3.5 stars. I mean, not much of a review, like I said. What you're getting into, and it's just really following these different cases. It's done well. It's not going to blow your socks off with like artistic flair or anything. It's just a real straight and ahead meat and potatoes crime documentary where the subject matter is less lurid and less leering than a lot of those are. 3.5 stars, I think, for Missing Dead or Alive, Season 2 and Season 1. I think they're both equally good. And once again, they're both pretty quick watches. They are both on Netflix as well as Death by Lightning. Now, I told you it'd be a pretty short episode. The last thing is our movie Dobermann from 1997. This is the episode. This is the movie from 1997 that makes it to our main episode. Of course, the other two are going to be on the Patreon. This is the movie I'd never even heard of. And I think a filmmaker suggested this to us. Once again, I know that Eric and Greg will probably get into more detail on who suggested it. But Dobermann 1997 movie, French, directed by probably Jan Konen. I don't know how to say the name. It's a weird spelled name. This stars Monica Bellucci, Vincent Cassel, and a whole bunch of other people. But if your ears perk up hearing, wow, 1997, Monica Bellucci, Vincent Cassel, these are two giants of the 90s and thousands, French underground indie cinema, French extreme. Of course, they both were together in Irreversible, most famously, but both independently have made a ton of really famous movies. And a lot of them are really hard-edged and interesting and on the fringes kind of cinema. I guess on paper, this is also on the fringes. But what this is, in a lot of ways, to me, is sort of a post-Tarantino type of movie from the late 90s. And that is ultra stylized, quite violent, lots of super colorful language. But boy, oh boy, does this not understand the assignment. Like, it's like, to me, my immediate impression was like, well, this is someone who really saw a whole bunch of Tarantino or blown away by Tarantino and thought, I can do that, and did not understand what made Tarantino great. Of course, now if you love Tarantino, a lot of the things are, it's the script, it's these characters, it's the way he writes dialogue and characters to a degree that could be annoying to people too. But at least usually for me, at least, it's always interesting. And I feel with Tarantino, it's always character first and style first A, first B. They both go almost hand in hand. But there's always tons of character, tons of dialogue. And he really knows his history. He's always, some people would say stealing, homage, whatever you want to say. He's always clipping and using and compiling all these references, visual and story beat wise, from these other pulpy B movies from different places in history, whether it's Asian cinema or exploitation cinema or European cinema, whatever it is. He's taking these things and mashing them all together with this dialogue that he writes and these great characters he writes. This movie says, cool, all we got to do is be stylish and have a lot of violence and like put some crime people in there, give them weird names, and we're like Tarantino too, right? That's the problem with this movie. This movie is so cartoonish. To me, it's like Tarantino via Boondock Saints. Now, that's going to be a big sell for some people. For me, that's like because I hate Boondock Saints. I think it's a horrible movie. I think it's absolute trash. It's garbage. But I know people love it. I know people are absolutely 100% behind Boondock Saints. I cannot stand it. This movie is worse though than Boondock Saints. This movie is really terrible. This on the really bad side, when you waste a young Monica Bellucci and Vincent Cassel, that's a double crime. Make a dumb crime movie that's way over the top stylistically and trying to be second-rate Tarantino, and it would be like, whatever. But you take those stars and actually in their prime, in their youth, and waste them, that's a double crime. What is the story? I don't know. It starts out with Dobermann. He's like this crime dude played by Vincent Cassel. You see him born. You see his christening. At his christening, there's this whole thing where this dog comes running in and creates this havoc, and the baby is in a stroller, and there's a gun, and a gun gets thrown in the air and lands in the crib, and they're all worried the kid's going to die, but he doesn't, and the kid's holding the gun. It's like, see, from a baby, he was already meant to hold a gun in his hand, that kind of cheese. And then really quickly you see them being Bellucci and Cassel's character, like basically holding up this, I forget what they're holding up. There's like a car, a truck, a van. It's already gone out in my head. Right at the beginning, they're having basically a hold up, a stick up on the road. And there's this whole wild sequence that goes on there. And just both characters are caricatures. They're screaming. It's supposed to be funny and violent and crazy, and it's supposed to just blow our minds. And to me, it's just like cartoonishly cringe. It just doesn't work. It's like cartoonish in a bad way. Like you could do cartoonish in like a Raising Arizona way, where sure, it's way over the top and way over stylized, but to me, they catch the tone just right, literally trying to do a Looney Tunes thing. Here, it's just like so forced and trying so hard to be edgy and stuff. The other members of Dobermann's gang, because they essentially go around and rob banks. The other characters in Dobermann's gang are Pitbull and Mosquito and the Priest. They all have these names. This feels like it was based on a graphic novel. I don't know if it was, but it feels very, very strongly like a graphic novel adaptation of the late 90s. And also the last thing about it, there's no story here. Now I get it in Tarantino, you could say, well, he doesn't have a lot of story in some of his movies. Look at Reservoir Dogs, doesn't have a lot of story. And it's like, well, if you have great characters, you can have a thin story. But if you have thin characters, you better have a great story. But if you have thin characters and a thin story, which this does, then you got a problem. Because the problem here is the story is basically Dobermann has a gang of bank robbers. They're notorious. There's a detective, an unhinged, of course, unhinged. There's an unhinged, evil detective that's trying to catch them in the act of robbing a bank. They go and rob some banks, and it has some problems. And then they go to a rave, because it's the late 90s, so of course you go to a rave club, whatever it is. They go to a rave, people do drugs, the cops come, people get killed, and some people get away. The end. That's the whole thing. Now I know you could say, well, Reservoir Dogs, all they do is they do a bank robbery and they get hurt and they go to a place and they talk in a warehouse, and it's like, you're right. But the talking is so much better than in this movie. So not much more to say about it other than I'd never heard of this movie. When I started watching it, I'm like, wow, how could I never have heard of this movie? And then I watched a little more and I said, oh, I can see why I never heard of this movie. It's no good. It's terrible. To me, it's terrible. I could see some people saying this is a cult hit. I can see this showing up on a 4K from Vinegar Syndrome and being praised for its hidden gem that someone had out there, and it's just this hidden cult classic. And I would say, no. I mean, if you're going to do something of the same ilk, Perdita Durango is more interesting, and I don't think that's a great movie either, but Perdita Durango, at least, I don't know. It just has something more going for it. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up, and you'll see why there's a very strong comparison between these two movies in their cult status, in question mark. All right. I would probably go 2 stars in Doberman, but because of the wasting of Cassell and Bellucci, I'm going to go 1 star. It's really loud, really annoying, and really not worth your time. I know there's some people that are going to absolutely disagree with me, but I can't promote this one as a yes. And that's all I've got for you this week. Don't forget, we also have 2 movies on our my brain has forgot the name of it. Anyway, we got our 2 other 97 movies coming up this week, but you gotta be in the special club. Shh. All right, next week I know we'll have a bunch of stuff for you guys. Greg is always good about coming up with some interesting screeners for us. And on the side, I'll come up with some other stuff of my own. I am still considering whether I'll put out a Pluribus episode 4 and 5 episode recap and spoiler discussion for you guys. I'm not sure if you guys want to hear those or not, but I am still watching it. It is still fantastic. It's a great, great show. Continues to be amazing. Also, this is a little extra bit for you guys. If you have been watching Pluribus and you haven't done this, because I always do this, if you've never taken the numbers from the TV screen when you see them or hear them mentioned on a show and call them, whenever it's not a 555 number, whenever it's an actual number, I always call those numbers because usually they're little Easter eggs where there's some little message or something you get. This is the first time I've done it in a show and I've seen it actually change and sort of coincide with what's happening in the show. And what I mean by that is in the very first episode, Carol goes home and there's this chyron on the screen while the guy's talking to her from the TV, and it tells her what number to call, and it also posts it on the screen. Call this number, Carol. And if you called it in the last few weeks, it would say something like, Carol, we're so happy that you're here with us. We just want to make you happy, something like that. And they're like, just call us anytime and we'll do whatever we can for you. It's that kind of a message. And I thought, well, that's really cool. I love when they do that kind of stuff. Well, let's just say the way that Carol and I'll call them the meat puppets. That's the way I've been calling them. The unified or whatever. The meat puppets and Carol communicate in a little different way in episode 5. And I thought to myself, the phone calls she's getting are very different. I wonder if the phone message has changed on that number that I called. So I called it, and the phone number or the phone message had changed. And I really appreciate that when a show is actually, they're creating this meta reality around it that fits with the actual show. So that's pretty awesome. So if you're up on the show and you've been watching it, check out the number. The message you hear now coincides with how the show is going currently, and changed from the original message that you got if you had called it a few weeks ago. And that is all I have for this week on the main show. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving, and we will be talking to you over on the Patreon here. If you have not already checked it out and you're a Patreon member, check it out. If you're not a Patreon member, go look and see what we got over there. We have lots, and it might be fun for you to become part of it. It's a $5 catch-all per month, and you get all of the stuff we've been doing over on Patreon. Talk to y'all soon.